Introduction.
What's up, bitches?
What's up?
Today it's just the red nose today. No taco. It's some crazy ass shit go down.
Family issues.
Family issues for sure.
He'll be back.
He will be back. Need to fly out to California.
Enjoying the nice weather.
Yeah. Wish it was under better circumstances. Lost a cousin. Moral of the story: do not drink and drive, people. Do not drive the wrong way on the fucking highway. That's bad news.
Bad news for sure.
Not good. But anywho, we're not going to bring down the podcast. We will suffer on for him.
Making our way back around. Should we address our last attempt?
We have to address the gap in podcast for sure. And all three of you that have been listening to and keeping up with our podcast, we wanted to do a podcast on pot brownies. Not about pot brownies, but while on pot brownies.
Alex wanted to do a podcast on pot brownies.
Yes, Alex, our guest on the probably one and only podcast you listen to. That was
podcast number 2.
Yes. Eric's brother. We had talked about it on the podcast, about different experiences that we had all had. So he sends me a text message with a picture. Look what I made. And it was the butter. And he sent it to me in stages. He had said that you have to make the butter for the brownies, and then you make the brownies out of the butter. So he sends it to me in stages. He sends me the butter, and then he sends me the picture of the done brownies. So I'm like, all right, are we going to do this for the podcast on Sunday? And he's like, fuck yes. So we did it. We all ate what seemed to be a minimal amount. Very small. And I think I would have been fine with it had I stayed at the level 2 high instead of where I ended up, which was like a level 7. To me, it was...
Dude, I don't know if that happens when you eat pot brownies, because every time, or eat, edible weed, because every time that I've eaten it, it's like, I know, Alex was like, I remember you guys asking me, one of you guys asked, how long it takes, and I was like, dude, it's going to be, 2 hours before it hits you, and I was like, nah, man, you feel it in 30 minutes, and I was like, you might feel it in 30 minutes, it's going to take it for about 2 hours before it hits you, and when it hits you, it's going to fucking kick you in the mouth.
Oh, it did. It was insane. It was just, to me, I felt like it was going parasailing with a rope that was way too long. It was fun at first, and then you're going, higher and higher. And then you notice that the guy that's driving the boat is taking shots at Jack Daniels, and you're like, I don't fucking want to do this anymore. I want this to be over. And then you see sharks in the water. You're like, this is fucking terrible. Because at first, man, I felt chill. I was like, this is cool. I was like, this feels interesting, different, because coming from a guy that doesn't really drink ever, has never done any drug, minus pot brownies, now twice. But there was at one point, you had already left.
Yeah.
There was one point I was cold, and I was in the recliner, and I wanted to get comfortable. So I got up to get a blanket out of the closet in there in the living room.
Yeah.
And I went to the closet and I stared at the door because by the time I'd gotten from the recliner, which for those of you that don't know the layout of my home, the recliner is approximately 2 feet from the closet. By the time I got out of the recliner to the closet, I forgot why I was there. I had no idea why I was there. So I got to the closet and I was like, why am I here? And then that immediately led to the thought, why are we here? I started pondering the whole point of the entire universe because I got to get up to get a blanket. Yeah, I'm like, why are we? Who are we?
It's funny.
What created us? Yeah. And I'm standing there for what seemed like a minute to me, and Emily and Eric swears I was there for at least 10 minutes just staring at the door. So
time was probably fucked up to them too.
It was rather odd. Rather odd.
It's funny that it makes you do shit because the sensation that I always have is I know I was telling you guys about last time where the second time that I did it and I was driving, like having that sensation that my arms were like separate entities from my body. I had that again the last time that I did it, and I realized that time I had it, it was like my arms and my legs, and I realized what it's from. The reason that you have that sensation is because it was like I got up and I was walking around, and I was like, I don't have to like make my legs move. My legs just get up and they walk where I want. Like I just think about it, and I get up and my legs just walk to where I want them to go, and I don't have to think about actually making a move. And it's like like my arms just like I'm in my car, and it's like they just make the motions of like driving without like me having to really think about it. And it's weird that fucking having that shit in your system make you think about totally inconsequential.
Yeah, you
shit
become
like
so
that.
conscious of everything that you're doing. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's kind of like when you start thinking about blinking, and then you want to stop thinking about it because then all you can do is think about how you're blinking right now.
Right.
Like anybody listening?
Or there's like
trying to stop thinking about blinking now.
Or there's those things that's like your body breathes automatically, but if somebody goes, you know you're breathing right now, like you start manually breathing.
Yeah, you're
you
like,
make
damn it.
yourself breathe.
Yeah, then it becomes such a task.
So like all the people who listen to this, you're probably like thinking about breathing now, so you're probably making yourself
You hate
breathe.
us. Because now you're thinking about blinking and breathing. You're like, God damn it!
Quit trolling me!
You motherfuckers! This is called the Troll Podcast.
Troll podcast.
We're here to ruin your day. You're welcome.
The thing, I want to go down on record saying that the day before we did that podcast, Eric texted me and said, we're eating pot brownies tomorrow. And I said, that's probably a bad idea. And he said, don't back out, bitch, or something like that.
Something very, very taco worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
well, you have to tell him. You have to tell him how your evening came to a conclusion.
On the last podcast, we were talking about how whenever I went to Chicago and I fucking donked out and I passed out and smacked my head on the pavement. So this time, I drove to my girlfriend's friend's house where we were having dinner, and it was she and I, her friend and her dude, and one of their other friends and her dude. And we're eating, and all of a sudden, like, it was like as soon as I got there, it hit me. And I was fucked. And I passed out again, and I smacked my head against the wall. I fell out of the chair at the dinner table, and I was like sitting next to the wall, and I fell sideways and smacked my head on the wall. So they got me up and everything. I eventually puked, and they took me to the hospital because I told them what happened afterwards. They didn't, like, she was kind of wigging out at the time because they didn't know what was going on. Because I thought I was going to be cute and go over there and act funny and not know. And I was going to
thinking.
Yeah, I was going to like troll them while I was over there, and then like later on in the night tell them that I was fucked up. And that didn't happen. I passed out. They took me because they didn't know if I had a concussion or not. They just wanted to get me checked out. So I learned something while I was in the hospital that apparently, and I think I have low blood pressure anyway because I'm tall. My hands and feet get cold all the time. And so I learned that a lot of people from ingesting marijuana, it causes a dip in your blood pressure. And apparently that's what's been happening to me because my doctor asked me to describe what happened before I passed out. And I told him I kind of got a little nauseous, got a little bit of tunnel vision, started seeing stars in my peripheral vision, and then I just went out. I blacked out. I didn't remember what happened. And he said what I was describing is essentially what happens when you faint. And he said most people, when they faint, it's due to a drop in blood pressure, like an instantaneous drop in blood pressure. So apparently that's what happened to me. So this has happened 2 times out of 3, and the second time that I did it, I went to sleep before that really even kicked in. So I feel like I probably would have passed out that time too. So
yeah,
I'm probably not going to eat marijuana anymore. It's probably a bad idea for me.
Yeah, I'm done too. During the course of my bad parasailing / brownie incident, I fought sleep for like an hour. It made me ridiculously tired. And so after I finally succumbed to the urge, and was asleep for several hours. I woke up, I was still hot as fuck.
That's
Level 7 when I wanted to be at a 2, and
how long did you
was
sleep for?
really, really, really sick. It made me
yeah.
very, very nauseous. I don't know if that's, due to my lack of tolerance, maybe because I don't really do anything. I don't really feel like I ate anything that should have done that day. But yeah, it made me really sick.
Did you puke?
I did not puke. I did want to puke. I did get the cold chills. My hair on end and all that jazz. I got really, really lightheaded. Extraordinarily lightheaded. And Emily was really, really scared because my face got very, very white.
Yeah.
Very, very pale.
That's like the same thing that happened to me.
Yeah. So I just went to bed after that. Like I pooed and tried to throw up while I was pooing, and it did not work. But overall, I mean, it started pleasant, ended awfully. So I don't know that I'll be doing it again. I know Joe Rogan will be disappointed in both of us, but it is what it is.
Or else you got to just take a really small dose.
Evidently,
these, just for everybody out there, they were about an inch cubed, and Drew and I both ate about 3/4 of one. Like, that is a fucking small brownie, but I think Alex made them just like super dense. So
yeah. So heed the warning, ladies and gentlemen, that just be careful when you're doing this shit, like on the real.
if a Mexican
Our public
tells
service
you,
announcement.
if a Mexican tells you to eat half a pot brownie, eat like 1/4 of it.
Yeah, because
You'll get fucked.
they're so used to just terrible stuff like Montezuma's Revenge on the daily, and their bodies aren't like ours. So yeah, just really don't even do it. Just say no thanks. Just pass. But yeah, I mean it was fun, and I'm sure when Eric comes back and maybe Alex does another guest spot, they'll have their stories to tell.
Yeah.
Too. But overall, it was interesting. It made for a good story to tell our grandkids. So one time Papa was hot and pot brownies. But yeah, man, interesting.
So yeah, that's a fill-in of wow, we've been slow on the podcasting. Missed about 2 weeks. We're not even plugged in. Is it picking up from your?
It is.
Is it actually recording?
It is recording.
Oh, is it recording on the mic?
It's recording on the mic on the computer.
Is it? It's not recording on that?
No. It's recording on the mic on the computer. Very strange, ladies and gentlemen.
Do you want to take a break to make sure we got everything and then come back to it?
Yeah, we will.
We'll return. Alright. We back now?
Yeah, we're back now.
Technical difficulties.
It happens with two dumb white boys.
First half of the podcast might sound like shit because we were recording it through the laptop mic and didn't realize it. We forgot to plug in the regular mic into the USB. Ba-ba-ba-ba.
We're retarded.
Brr.
We're retarded. Sorry.
We're back now.
Yeah.
In audio quality
That is sufficient to, a free podcast. And we're not balling like certain others,
Yeah.
Insert name here.
Alright, so we got it. We addressed the gap. Where to now, my friend? Anything new in the world today?
Well, there's a lot of new in the world. It's fucking terrifying.
What new in the world do you want to talk about in this podcast event?
Well, I don't know. A movie.
Seen any new movies?
I did.
What'd you say?
Saw Insidious 2.
How was that?
For me, amazing. I was very, very... You sick motherfucker.
Dude, what do you expect? I come over here and you feed me shit, I'm gonna fucking blow ass.
Yeah, I fed you well, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I came over, Drew and his wife cooked me an awesome dinner. It was good. Anyway, fuck dude, it kinda stinks.
Good. Great. We're gonna have a closed room, a small enclosed room, like a 10 by 10 room, and you're
Oh shit!
not even 10 by 10.
I'll try to contain myself.
Like 8 by 10.
Insidious 2. Said you enjoyed it
Fucking.
as much or less than the first one.
I wouldn't put it at the level of the scare. I don't really feel like it created as many scares as the first one did for me. But I really am impressed with the things that the director James Wan is doing. For those of you that aren't familiar with James Wan, you need to, if you're a horror fan especially, you need to familiarize yourself with him. He did the first Saw movie. He did of course, he did the first Insidious movie. He did a more recent movie, The Conjuring, and he did this most recent Insidious movie. And he's also done other small titles, but those would be the titles that would be his most notable work. But he's fantastic. He's a really talented young guy. And the guy that he's working with, as far as writing a lot of this stuff, Lee Winnell, I guess is how you say it. I'm sure I'll be corrected by somebody at some point. But they've done a fantastic job on things that they work together, The Conjuring and the 2 Insidious movies. And but this new one is really great. For a lot of people, the sci-fi portion of the first one, I hate to spoiler alert. For any of you that haven't seen the first Insidious, go watch it and
that shit's been out for like 2 fucking years.
Yeah, get off your ass and watch it. If you haven't seen it and you're gonna watch it, tune out right now for like the next couple minutes.
Or sorry about you.
Yeah, but the first one, what I really liked about it is toward the end, which a lot of people didn't like, was what they called the further. It was an area that he went in an astral projection sense, and he had to go into this astral projected area called the further in search of his son, who had during his journeys of astral projection had been lost from his body in this further world. And at the end of that movie, he comes back with his kid after going to the further and saving him from that area and this demonic entity that had attached itself to him. And he comes back, and the movie ends with him basically, he did not come back to his body. There was a spirit that had been attached to him since he was a child and had finally bridged the gap and came over to this side via his body. Then it ends there as he kills the psychic that had helped them through all this to get their child back. So the movie ended there. Well, where they pick up on this film is right from there. I mean, there's no gap in it. It starts with the wife at the police station, and she's discussing the incidents that occurred that night when he went to rescue his son.
That chick's kind of hot.
What is her name?
I don't know her name, but she's kind of hot.
Yeah, she's been in a lot of stuff. She was in X-Men. X-Men First Class. X-Men First Class. She's the detective at the beginning that goes in her underwear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's real hot.
She's real hot. Yeah.
Yeah,
she's kind of hot.
I'm going to have to look her name up. IMDb that. But it just starts there at the police station, and she's discussing to the detective things that happened, and he's questioning her as to whether or not she thought their husband could kill the psychic, yada, yada, yada. And, I'm not going to break down the whole movie because I'm sure a lot of people haven't seen that yet. But he did a fantastic job of bridging the gaps from the first film into the new film. And he did a really excellent job of not making the same movie twice. I thought that could be a high risk from the trailers that I'd seen. It looked like it was going to develop some of the same scares. But he did a really, really good job of creating a different movie and keeping it with that same feel. And for me, I don't know, I talk to Chase a lot about movies because me and him are kind of we're dorks.
A little bit.
So we kind of pick and dissect movies a little bit more than the average fan. One of my biggest gripes with horror movies is natural lighting. It really aggravates me when, somebody's in a building that's 100 years old with no light in it in the middle of the woods or something, and it's completely bright, you can see everything. That really agitates the shit out of me. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. You're in one of the scariest places you can ever be. Let's say, for example, Waverly, which the movie they did there, Death Tunnel, guys, it was fucking terrible. Whoever made that, please don't do it again. But just the lighting, and he does a brilliant job of using natural lighting effects. As far as what I've read, is some of the stuff that he's talked about is one of the things he prides himself on. He's not a big, proponent of CG in his movies. As far as the Saw was all special effects. Conjuring, same thing. In both Insidious movies was makeup and prosthetics and
I didn't know that.
things of that nature.
The only one, I mean, I've seen Saw 1, and I know there's like no special effects in that, but I know like there's all like the. But now that I'm thinking about it, I've only seen Insidious once, and there's parts that I was thinking about that I'm like, like right offhand, I thought there was like a lot of CG in that movie, but now that I'm like thinking back on it, I'm like, yeah, they could have done like all that with like wire work or like just fucking prosthetics and shit.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, being a fan of like classic horror movies, movies back in the day that they didn't even know what CG was. You know what I'm saying? You watch the old Frankenstein movies.
Yeah.
The Hammer films that had Dracula in it.
MC Hammer.
No, the production company. You fuck.
I know.
You fuck. But a lot of those older films really created a nice, just overall creepy aesthetic. Without any of those crazy, over the top CG effects that we have now, which are good, in certain things like Pacific Rim and Transformers and things like that. Big, just gaudy blockbuster movies. But what's that chick's name?
Rose Byrne.
The
reason I've been silent is I've just been looking at pictures of her for like the last few minutes while Drew's been talking, so I'm enjoying.
Yeah, have it, Chubby. Please keep your distance.
A little bit.
I mean,
the other thing I was thinking about whenever you were talking about the natural lighting shit, one of the other things that I see in like horror movies that kind of drives me nuts nowadays is the opposite of that, where they try to make everything like as dark and murky as possible to try to like get the cheap scare out of you. That kind of fucking drives me nuts too. Like, there's so much, like, it's hard for me to get down with like new horror movies because they're like, a lot of it's just for like, they want that like jump scare. They're going for that easy scare. I like creepy movies way better. Like what you're talking about with like the natural light, just making things more creepy. Like the old like Universal Studios Monsters movies and shit like that.
That's great, man.
Like that's, like I'm down for stuff like that. Like Insidious was alright. Like I did feel like I got gypped at the end because I was like, fuck, they're just trying to make this shit to like make another like series where they're gonna make another one like every year, every 2 years. That's gonna be like, just because the way that it ended, that shit. Like I know a lot of people dig that. That shit drives me up a fucking wall.
Well, you have to understand as a director, the unfortunate truth of it is when you're making a movie on that level with good actors and you have the ability to do good effects and you're gonna get this huge medium to put your film across the masses.
Right.
There's certain things that you kind of have to bow to. So you get a lot of studio pressure.
Yeah.
As far as like, they want something that's marketable.
Right.
And they want that series. They want another Saw film.
Yeah.
That's gonna go fucking 6 movies deep. They want that. Another Paranormal Activity that, it stopped at 4. Hopefully they don't make it anymore.
I never get down with those.
But, I applaud him for the stuff that he's done in the movies, man. I really, really like some of the stuff that he's done. He's kind of taken it back, kept it simple, and just really effective. Creepy music. Probably one of the creepiest scores I've ever heard, minus the Silent Hill video games. But just a fantastic job. I can't say enough good stuff about it. If you're a fan of the first Insidious, you're going to absolutely love this one, I think. I wouldn't say that there would be anything in it to disappoint you. And
does it give you another cliffhanger ending?
Like Insidious 3. I don't know. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But yeah, go see it. Go check it out.
I'm like way more nowadays into like, if there's like a horror movie that comes out, like I like comedy horrors more than really anything. Like I didn't see Cabin in the Woods until like way after. Like I didn't see it until it was like already. It was probably like a year after it had been released, like on like DVD and Blu-ray.
So fucking
And
good.
I watched it. And I was like, this movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
and like so many people
fucking
hated
good.
it, and I'm like, they did not get the point of this movie.
You should have stabbed him in the face.
Yeah.
If you listen to this and you don't like Cabin in the Woods, please kill yourself.
It's a comedy horror. It
It's-
is not meant to be a legit horror movie. It is made by Joss Whedon.
It's a homage to horror fans. Is absolutely what it
It's
is.
the best shit ever.
It really, really
It's
is.
the best, like, it's not like a full-on horror movie, but like that's like the fucking closest that you're gonna get to like the essence of what a horror movie should be.
Yeah, it never takes itself too seriously, which a good horror movie never should, because most plot concepts for horror movies are pretty preposterous. You know, so you kind of just have to let go. This isn't a stage production where you're trying to maintain the fourth wall, you know. So
A dude gets staked by a fucking unicorn, for Christ's sakes. How fucking serious can this shit be? Come on.
a fucking lagoon monster or whatever it was, the fish monster
Yeah.
that crawled to him. He's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So great. Just so great. I mean, tons of plot twists. You never really know what's going on until the end, and so I mean, it keeps you intrigued. It makes you laugh a lot. It's funny as fuck.
And isn't like Sigourney Weaver like the main boss? Is that who it is?
Yeah, Sigourney
Like,
Weaver is the voice.
come on.
Do you ever see her?
I think you do at the very end.
Do you? Anywho,
I can't remember.
Sigourney Weaver.
If you don't get it, if you don't get that it's a comedy, you're fucking knucklehead.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
you're a retard, and you shouldn't be watching movies anymore.
It's awesome.
You should be watching SpongeBob reruns. So
So you said you haven't seen This Is the End?
I have not.
Have you seen? Did you see The World's End?
No, I have not.
That's pretty good too. I don't feel like it's as good as like Shaun of the Dead or
Hot Fuzz.
but it's still like,
See, I felt like Hot Fuzz wasn't good until the end.
dude, Hot
I
Fuzz.
felt like Hot Fuzz was a build for an hour, and the last 30
You
minutes
didn't
were
think
the
Shaun
most
of the Dead
fucking
was like
hilarious.
that? I think all their movies are like that. Like I think that's how they said it. That, like that's kind of like their formula.
I guess you're right to a degree, but I felt like Shaun of the Dead was making fun of itself the entire time.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because it was poking fun at the dramatics of it the entire time. Like he's brushing his teeth and it's like, done! And it's like, you know, dramatic music and a crazy score in the background as he's brushing his teeth and doing all these mundane activities. And then redoes it later on with the zombies in it and just
Right.
kind of shows you. I think it's a brilliant
It took me a long time to get into Shaun of the Dead.
It's such a
I didn't-
brilliant movie.
I
man.
didn't like it the first time I watched it.
I remember you telling me
now-
that. I'm
now
like, you're
it's
a
like-
fucking crazy
Yeah.
loon.
Now it's like one of my like favorite movies that are.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
awesome. Because I mean, not only is it funny, but it's really well done. Like
Yeah.
the special effects and everything, and case in point, no CG.
Yeah.
They're doing it the way it should be, makeup and real people. You're doing those kind of movies. Directors, special effects artists, please listen to me, please. I know my horror movies. I've been watching horror movies for 25 years of my life. You know, I might not be the most, informed guy on it, but, I'm relatively. And I go to a lot of conventions. I've been to 11 or 12 of them so far, and I'm going to continue to go. And the bitch with people is CG, inappropriate CG.
Unless you get like $1 billion budget,
Yeah.
which no horror movie ever gets. Like, unless you get that $1 billion CG budget, your CG's gonna look like shit.
Right.
Sorry. I love The Walking Dead. You watch the first couple episodes of The Walking Dead, the blood CG and stuff in that looks janky as fuck. Like, it's even like like Game of Thrones. You look the way the wolves look in like the first season, janky as fuck. And then but then you look at shit like the fucking crazy budget that the Avengers gets, and like how they make like the Hulk and Iron Man look in that.
It looks seamless and flawless.
Until you get that kind of budget, your CG is gonna look janky.
Yeah, or Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
All those movies, fantastic CG.
But then you get like, if you've got like actual like old school special effects, that's actually a real thing that's on somewhere that is like made out of something that exists in this world. So it looks relatively real because it's actually touching that person.
Yeah, you can't get a better example than The Thing.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest example of legitimate, hands-on, real to the touch, exist in this realm of possibility special effects
I love
that I've ever seen. I mean, it's such a great movie. You know, they blended.
It's John Carpenter, right?
Absolutely.
Did John Carpenter do They Live?
Yes, he did. He did They Live.
God, John Carpenter used to be such a... Did we talk about this on the podcast before? About how he used to be a badass and like now all his like new movies are like...
I think we touched on it like very, very
I can't remember if we talked about... If we were just talking about that or if we
I think it was just like a grazing piece of conversation. But yeah, dude, he was a motherfucker back in the day.
Old John Carpenter is the shit.
There's none better, really. I mean, you had Halloween, the first one.
Even the second one is good. I like the second half.
I believe he did the second one too. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think he just did the first two.
He jumped off after that.
Dude, even the ones after that don't really... They don't bother... They're not the same as the first one, and I know, like...
Well, Season of the Witch, what people don't understand, the third one...
They're trying to make it like an anthology.
It was an anthology. That was every intention. It was meant to be...
hated it.
It was meant to be like a Tales from the Crypt, a different story every movie. But everyone had gained such a huge attachment to Michael Myers that once they did a movie without that character, everybody was so up in arms.
Yeah.
This is blasphemy. Bring back Michael Myers.
That's a really cool character, though. Just because, like, and I know we talked about this because I told you I really didn't like the new ones with
Rob
Zombie doing.
I liked the first one, but the second one was complete bullshit.
Well, I know I told you I didn't like them because I didn't like the backstory. I didn't like that they gave Michael Myers a backstory because I preferred it to be like he's just a maniacal, like, fucked up person who's like indestructible for no explainable reason. Like, I didn't like it that they made like, yo, he was a tortured child. Like, it seemed like a cop out to me. Like, to give him like that generic back. And I know you said that you kind of dig that.
Yeah, I liked for the first one. Just because it gave it a different twist. If you're gonna see all these fucking remakes and rehashes that people are, these people that want to take it to another level.
I'd rather never see a remake of like an old classic movie like that. Like, I don't care to see that. Like,
it's not necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it ends up okay.
Like the new Star Trek movie, they're not necessarily remakes. They're like re-envisioning.
It's a reimagining,
and it's supposed to be like, I guess, like an alternate universe or something.
But he's a whole other different character, and J.J. Abrams is the man.
I was never into Star Trek. I love those new Star Trek movies. They're fucking awesome to me.
They're fantastic, man. They're really good.
And they're supposed to be giving him the reins for the new Star Wars movies. So,
I guess
we might see.
Not to steer too far away from what we were talking about rehashes.
Yeah.
We could talk about Star Trek and Star Wars soon.
Okay.
But as far as like them rehashing things, a lot of the stuff that they're remaking, you don't even realize that it's a remake.
Or it's made off a book or a comic book.
Yeah. And a lot of that stuff you're not even familiar with it until it's done. Like I was completely, I know a lot of comic book people are going to be like, what? I was unaware that Kick-Ass was a comic book, and then of course it was brought to my attention when they made the movie, and those movies are amazing.
I still haven't seen it. Oh, we were going to go see the second one, and it's already out of theaters.
What?
Dude, I'm telling you, people didn't like it. People did not like it. It's like, we looked...
That is moronic.
I thought it was just going to be... Because we tried to go... I was going to go Tuesday. Me and my girlfriend were... And I looked in it because I live right by Tinseltown, so we were going to go there. They didn't have it, so I was like, well, maybe it's at one of the other theaters. It's not in any of our theaters anymore. I don't know, dude. Like, I know it's got, like, crap ratings online and stuff, so...
That hurts my feelings, because we really loved it, and...
We were
all big proponents of the first one, me and, Eric the Taco, and... One of our other friends were all big fans of the first one. My friend Whit is a huge comic book fan.
Yeah.
Huge. I mean, he has 2 sleeves tattooed on him that's all comic book characters. He's a very adamant fan.
I'm pretty like into comics, but not like I'm into like very specific. Like I have like a few titles that I'm really, really all about. Like Whit loves comics in general.
Right.
Like I've got like right now I'm really into The Walking Dead, and the part of that's like the kickoff from the show, but like I'm really into like the X-Men, and like that's like one of them that it hurts me that they like fuck it up just because like that was like my childhood, like growing up reading the comics, watching the show and all that stuff. There was some others that I was really into, but like the X-Men was like my shit. Like I can tell you like X-Men inside and out. But like Wit, he's the way that he is with like comics is like the same way that he is with games.
Oh
It's
yeah,
crazy.
he's very, very, very video game freak.
And then
But it's kind of like me in
Vince
movies.
is like, he's deep in. Well, I don't know. He's kind of like the same way that I am now that I'm thinking about it. Like he has some from like his childhood that he was like
super
deep,
into.
like the Hulk and the Punisher and shit like that. That he can tell you like the old storylines inside and out. But if somebody talks to him about like a new story arc, he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But like Wit still, he keeps up like with even new comics still,
yeah.
doesn't he?
Oh yeah, dude. He's into the Civil War series. He loves that. He claims that to be the best series of comics that there's ever been. He's really into that. He's into that. What is the Blackest Night, the new Green Lantern spinoff?
Oh, I don't know. I never kept up with the DC characters too much.
Yeah, he really likes that. He talks about how good that is. Planet Hulk, all the Planet Hulk story arc. There's a lot. You know, it's so funny that I don't really read comics or play video games, but I kind of stay in the know through my friends. Yeah, so it's like I know people probably think I'm weird, you know, but I haven't played a video game. I haven't even touched a video game in 2 years. You know, it's just I don't know. I don't have the attention.
It's hard to make time for it too.
Yeah, because the games are so in depth now. You know, most games you're looking at a minimum of 10 hours of gameplay. Minimum.
Oh,
and
dude,
most people
that's
are
a
pissed.
short game.
Right, and most
Yeah.
people are pissed that that's all you're getting. So I don't have 30 or 40 hours to devote
Yeah.
to that. You know, I do other things, and, you know, I'm big into movies. I love TV, you know, but I don't like TV in the general sense. I'm very specific in the things that I like, and I only watch that stuff.
Now, man. Most TV shows are like garbage now.
Oh, yeah, all this reality television and all this stuff.
I got a very like limited amount of shows that I watch, but I'm like pretty dedicated to watching those
Right,
shows.
Game of Thrones, Walking Dead,
Breaking Bad.
Oh, goddamn.
I got like some cartoons and some fucking comedy shows on it. Like I like Archer, I like Louie.
Louie's amazing.
Like cartoons, I watch Adventure Time and a regular show pretty regularly.
Yeah.
I'm
pretty stoked about South Park coming back on.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia just started back
Oh,
up.
yeah, it's good shit. The League.
I haven't watched that since the first season.
It's so funny. It's never gotten... It just takes it up a notch every season.
Yeah.
It really is funny.
I was thinking about something when we were talking about comic books. Did you see, I know like everybody's wigging out right now. How do you feel about Ben Affleck playing Batman in the Superman Batman movie?
You know, it's going to feel like that I'm just kind of like rehashing what people have read on Yahoo and stuff like that. But, it really enlightened me to it. At first I'm like, that's fucking preposterous.
Yeah.
Nah. But then I thought about it in terms of, at first, who wanted Mr. Mom to be Batman?
Huh? Who's Mr. Mom?
Michael Keaton.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Or how
so
about whenever
he went from Mr. Mom to
I don't
Batman.
know if you remember before Dark Knight came out, everybody was shitting their pants about fucking Heath Ledger playing the Joker, and then you got like one of the...
Oh, I mean, I was one of those people.
Dude, people were
absolutely.
so
I was like,
mad.
there's no fucking way this fudge packer can fill the shoes of Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have nothing against gay people, but he went from Brokeback Mountain to one of the fucking craziest villains you've ever seen.
What was crazy, dude?
So you had to be skeptical, you know, because Jack Nicholson's one of the greatest actors to ever live. And if you want to argue that fact, try me, because there's not much argument on it. But you know, he had done that role in such a different light. Those Tim Burton's versions of those movies were completely different.
Yeah.
It was more of a 50s style comic, you know, kind of a homage to the Adam West versions of Batman.
And well, the Joel Schumacher ones were for sure. The last two, the Batman Forever and the Batman Robin.
Definitely. Yeah, even more so.
The two with Michael Keaton in it, I felt were somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
They were like that Michael Keaton, like Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands style with like that old, like 50 style.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, baby. Wife's doing laundry.
Sorry, my manager won't let me talk for free.
So I don't know. Him playing Batman, I don't know. We'll see. I still haven't seen Man of Steel. And
Oh, dude, Man of Steel's really good.
Liz is like...
It kind of falls off at the end. I feel like it's epic for an hour and a half. And then the last 30 minutes kind of... I won't say it's bad, not by any means. It's still amazing movie. Zack Snyder did a great job.
Liz has the biggest like lady boner for Henry
Cavill. Yeah,
so,
he's a sexy dude.
She says it's really good, and it's,
It
I
is?
know like it's got decent reviews, but it's hard for me to get down with Superman. But I know like I'm the same
The
way with
cheap
Batman.
character.
He's got every fucking power on earth. It kind of drops me.
They like invent powers every new
Yeah.
comic. They're like, oh, by the way, he has a toothbrush that'll come out of his finger. You're like, well, look at that.
What's crazy?
Swiss Army knife.
She had never seen those old Batman movies. And
What?
dude, she was like sheltered whenever she was a kid.
Evidently.
So we went just the last couple weeks and we watched the old ones with Michael Keaton and
So great.
watching the first one. And I didn't realize this because I haven't seen it in a long time. It's probably been like 5 or 6 years since I've seen the first one. Excuse me. So, do you remember the part in the first one where Batman is flying in like the Batwing and he's like shooting all the shit down and Joker's like standing in the street like right after he like grabs his balloons and
Oh, his balloons and he's taking them out of the city. Yeah.
Well, he's this is after he takes the balloons away. He comes back and Joker's standing in the middle of the road and he's shooting
He's
at
shooting
him.
at him. Yeah.
And he pulls out his big gun out of his pants. And
Oh,
it's
that
like
long
it's a
barrel?
handgun with
Yeah.
a crazy long barrel. And he shoots it and he makes him wreck. I'm like, that is the same fucking scene where, in the new one, where Batman's on his motorcycle and he's shooting the machine guns off of his motorcycle and Joker's standing in the street
yeah.
with a big, like, fucking automatic weapon and he shoots it at him and he wrecks his bike right in front of him. I'm like, how did I not realize that's the same exact
Wow.
fucking scene? It's kind of cool.
Well,
like,
that makes sense because I mean, Nolan is like, if people aren't familiar with Christopher Nolan, he's probably one of the most psychotically precise directors in the history of directors. There's all kinds of like hidden messages, and every movie that he's directed, I don't know if you even know this. Every movie is linked to every movie that he's done.
I didn't know that.
There's something in every movie, and I don't know specifics.
I know he's got like the same actors in like half of his fucking movies.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with that, and then there's certain story arcs and things like that that references other movies. It's so strange. It's like he has his own reality and he references it.
Yeah.
So that the fact that you say that was completely
Like,
intentional.
To me, I know it is. Like I know we've talked about this 100 times, and the people who are listening, I don't think we've talked about it on the podcast before. I hate Quentin Tarantino. I like some of his movies. I can't stand him. I can't stand his like ripping everybody off style. Whenever people try to tell me that's an homage, like that, what he does is not an homage. That bringing those to those two Batman movies, but switching it up a little bit, but still having kind of a similar scene, but your story's different, your characters are a lot different. That's the way an homage is supposed to be. Your entire movie ripped off of like old B movies is not the way that an homage is supposed to work, to me. But that scene from that Batman movie, like when I watched it, when I thought about that, I was like, that's fucking tight.
Yeah, that is
That's
pretty
really
dope.
cool.
That is really dope because I definitely have a huge place in my heart for that first Batman movie.
Yeah.
The first new Batman movie, because realistically, the first Batman movie was Adam West.
Yeah. I always call that the first Batman movie too.
Yeah, a
because
lot of people make that mistake.
Well,
but
that
it's
was
like,
that was the first Batman movie to us when we were kids.
to this generation.
Your mom
But-
would probably be like, "That's not the first fucking Batman movie."
you know my mom all the time. But that was a movie that I watched over and over and over. You know, as a kid.
That's one of the. Do you like that one or the second one better?
Of the
Or do
The
you like
first seven.
Batman or Batman Returns better?
oh,
I kind of like Batman Returns better.
Really?
Which is kind of weird.
That was weird.
I mean, it's not that
I like it just as much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of like
it's
there's like very few movies that I
Danny
like.
DeVito's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, there's very few movies that I like the second one better than the first one. But I do think that I like.
And we didn't get Catwoman until the second one.
Right.
So Michelle Pfeiffer did a phenomenal job.
Dude, Kim Basinger in the first movie is hot as fuck, and I forgot about that.
Yeah,
And she kind of looks like a hipster.
She's
got the big glasses, and she's got like her hair back with like the short bangs, and she's wearing like business casual woman clothes or something. She's hot as fuck in that movie, dude. Not that she's ever ugly, but in that movie, like, she looks fucking hot as shit.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot.
Same with Michelle Pfeiffer, like,
and then
as Catwoman, you're like,
it's
oh
Nicole.
my
There's
God.
always, like, they, like, James Bonded his women in those movies.
Yeah, they did. They took them to, like, their hottest levels.
And he always had a different one in every movie.
Yeah.
And it was, like, because it was Kim Basinger in the first one, then Michelle Pfeiffer in the second one, and then Nicole Kidman in the third one. And to me, Nicole Kidman's hot as fuck, too.
Yo.
And then Uma Thurman is Poison Ivy in the fourth one. And that's like the only time that I've ever thought Uma Thurman was hot, because I don't think she's that attractive.
Yeah, she's very hit or miss. I thought she was attractive. I don't know if you've ever seen Gag.
No.
Really good movie. Spectacular.
I have to check
It's
it
got Ethan Hawke in it.
Oh my god, it's Ethan Hawke!
And Jude Law. And
I like Jude Law.
really, it's really good.
Have you seen that episode of Family Guy where they're living in like Chinatown and they see Jackie Chan? Like, it's one of like the older episodes. Peter's walking around and every time he sees an Asian person, he's like, "Oh my god, it's Jackie Chan!" And then it's like
No, I haven't
they
seen
just
that
and he
episode.
just does that to three people, and then they run into Jackie Chan. He's like, "Oh my god, it's Jackie Chan!" He's like, "Oh, it's nice to see a fan of my work." And then he's like, "Oh my god, it's Ethan Hawke!" He says that's Peter, and then he says it to Meg. He goes, "Oh my god, it's Ethan Hawke!" And Meg's like, "I'm not even a boy," and he goes, "Yes, you are." It's so fucking stupid, but it's funny as shit to me. And every time I see some shit with Ethan Hawke, I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Ethan Hawke!"
That show is on a whole nother level of crazy, stupid funny.
And he's apparently that new fucking movie that he's in. He's with that like Disney girl, and I'm like,
Who,
getting
Ethan
attacked.
Hawke?
Yeah, they're getting attacked like evil GPS or something. I don't know. It's somebody like.
Oh, you're talking about Selena Gomez?
Yeah.
What you're talking about?
Yeah.
What is that movie called?
I don't know. It looks stupid as shit.
Yeah. Getaway or something.
Something like that.
Something terrible.
Yeah. We got way distracted from talking about like horror movies.
Yeah,
I guess we're still talking about movies. So
Yeah, we're still in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as you can tell, we like movies.
Yeah.
We're dorks.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because like dork is the new cool, thanks to The Big Bang Theory.
I hate that show.
I'm not a fan either, but
So many people like it. And
Yes.
I can't get down with that style.
people that are the anti-dork too, like jocks and shit,
Yeah.
are like, man, you seen a new show? You know, meanwhile their neck won't fit in a turtleneck. Like Brock Lesnar.
That chick's kind of hot though.
The blonde that lives
Yeah.
across the hall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Liz like doesn't think she's hot at all, and I'm
Liz
like,
is stupid.
I'm like, quit being mad. You're just being jealous. She's
Yeah.
like, whatever. She calls her Kaylee Average Pants, and I'm like, she is like so not average at all. That chick is hot as fuck.
Yeah. If that chick was in your class in college, you would not pay attention to the class.
You'd have like
Be
your dick
scared.
would be stuck to your pants every day.
Uh-huh. Be drip drip. Pulled out my mushroom tip. It went drip drip drip.
Dude, you ever watch Hodge Twins on YouTube?
What is it?
Hodge Twins. These
No.
two like buff dudes. They're like they're black dudes, and they do like all these videos. Some of their videos are just purely about working out, but they always talk like silly as shit, and they've got like fucking 100 different channels, and one of them is like Ask the Hodge Twins, so people like email them shit. And they always say stupid shit like, he's like, I put my mushroom tip in them. And just like saying stupid shit like that. And this is, I don't know, he just reminded me of we were talking about the mushroom tip.
Well, I was
They
just
always talk about whenever
singing
they,
Sublime is what I was doing.
oh,
Yeah.
whenever they talk about like, anytime they talk about like fucking, they're like getting in them sugar walls. It's fucking stupid, but it's funny. But they're jacked as fuck, man.
Must be nice to sit around and work out, do YouTube videos all day.
They're like one of the top YouTube channels. They get paid for it.
Of course they do.
Do you know who Jenna Marbles is? She's
Mm,
another she's like one of the top 10 or 20 YouTube personalities. She makes fat money off her YouTube channel, and she's hot as fuck.
she's not making theoretical dollars. She's making real dollars.
She's making real money. Yeah. She's funny. Like all her shit's like kind of silly, and she's really funny, and she's really hot. So it's just like
That doesn't seem fair.
I know.
That makes me kind of mad.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. I'm gonna end it all. That's what I'm gonna do.
Doesn't sound like a good idea.
I'm gonna eat like 2 whole pot brownies.
Then you're just gonna
I'll
feel
go into
like
a fucking black hole.
dude, you're just gonna feel like you're ending it all, and you're gonna wake up the next day and be like, "Why the fuck did I do that?"
No, I'm gonna wake up the next day still high, like I did last
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
How long-
I was still high the whole day.
How long did you sleep for before you got back up?
Like
You felt you were gonna
fucking
throw up?
10 hours.
Like a whole night's sleep.
Yeah.
Dude, it's fucking crazy. Cause that was the same thing. The second time that I ate the shit, I slept for like 9 hours, and I woke up and I sat down on the couch next to Liz, and I was like, she was talking to me, and I was like, I'm still high right now.
Yeah.
I'm still I was still really high.
It's so strange that it's that different.
Yeah.
Digesting it. It's so different. It's
It
a
goes
different
through your-
chemical. It's
it goes
not
through your
THC.
liver. Yeah.
Yeah. I forget
Crazy.
the active chemical that it is when you digest it as opposed to
Yeah,
smoking.
I don't know either.
Just look on Joe Rogan's website.
Yeah.
He'll know.
Yeah.
He could probably draw you the DNA sequencing for pot. That guy.
Oh,
But-
man.
So it's football season.
Yeah, I haven't followed football in a long time.
I know.
I was over. Did you watch the UL UK game yesterday?
Not 1 minute. No.
Yeah, me neither. Everybody everybody's asking about it. My dad was asking me about it when I was over his house earlier, and I was like, dude, I have so much better shit to do with my time than watch that.
You know, like,
And I know you're a UK guy, so
I'm a
their
UK
football
fan.
team you probably don't care as much.
I don't want to sound like the stereotypical thing with UK fans. But there was just something in my household. My dad never watched football.
Yeah.
Really. He was a self-proclaimed Packers fan, but he never really watched football
Yeah.
until I took an interest in it. I just up and decided to become a Cowboys fan, literally for no reason.
Were you
no
in,
rhyme.
how old were you whenever this happened?
8.
Yeah, there was probably some dude in your school.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I
just
know
like,
I was kind of the
Cowboys.
same way. At my school, there were several dudes that I hung out with. You can really hang out with dudes when you're in elementary school, but whatever. There was dudes that I was friends with in elementary school, and they were all 49ers fans. So I was like, I'm a 49ers fan now. That's
It's
what
so
I did.
strange how that stuff works.
Yeah.
It's like you go back to these psychological reasons as to why
Yeah.
you pick a team. You know, your favorite color was whatever, or you had an affinity for a certain animal that was the mascot of the
Yeah.
team or something
Yeah.
weird. I like dolphins. I'm a dolphin fan. It's just so weird. But I don't know. Like you just said, man. I've recently just started going. I've went back to college and I work a full-time job, so it's really taking
hard to
up
make time
all
for
my
it.
time, dude.
Well, that's-
And so it's last Sunday was the first Cowboys game. I didn't watch a single minute of it.
Yeah.
You know, and because I was doing homework.
Right.
You know, and it's I realized that I was too busy living my own life rather than living through somebody
Yeah.
else. Because, I'm not trying to hate on people that, enjoy sports and everything, because I have for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it. I love it, and it's fun. But, it's just it comes to a point, you got to start chasing your own things, and, you stop living through other people and you do your own thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's what it is.
Well, that's the same thing that happened to me. Because whenever I was in high school, and even before that, because I came from a U of L household.
Yeah.
And it was I never missed a U of L game.
Right.
If I did, it was I only missed part of it, or there was something super important going on. And I started going to U of L. I was like, I don't have time for this shit anymore.
Yeah.
I've got other shit I gotta do with my time other than watch fucking college sports for some dudes who are in the same classes as me. I don't give a fuck about this anymore. And then like after I got out of school, because even like I was really into pro football too,
Yeah.
and that went away because part of that was because I started going to U of L. I got a serious girlfriend. I was working full time, and I started doing the band.
Yeah.
So the band started taking up my Sundays, and then girlfriend and partying took up all the other time that I wasn't sleeping or doing shit for school.
Yeah.
So it was just like all that time that you had that you were like concerning yourself with sports just was gone. But and I thought maybe like I would get back into it after I got out, but like I started watching MMA, and it's like after watching that, it's hard for me to even care about other sports because it's not nearly as intense.
Right. It's such a complete sport. I mean, they really are. They're the modern day gladiators.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even close, man. It's
getting into like it's like what the true essentials of what competition really is, and it's like it's the most perfect way to express like what the true like deep emotions of what all competition really is, other than like, and I mean there's even a mental aspect of it, but it's not like there are competitions that are purely mental, but it's just like you can't. It's the same thing that like football, or it's like I'm better than you at being physical. It's like the same thing that's trying to express without maybe the team factor, but it's
there's no pretense. There's no.
It's hard to get
no
excited,
BS.
man. It's hard to get excited about other shit whenever you've got like that pure form of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just like you hear guys talk about jiu-jitsu. It's the purest sport outside of MMA, I think,
Yeah.
because there is no bullshitting your way through it. There's a lot of other stuff that you can kind of BS your way through it.
There's some bullshit. If you're talking about jiu-jitsu in practice versus jiu-jitsu in tournaments, like the idea of jiu-jitsu.
Dude, if you step on the mat in practice, you're going to get fucked up.
Well,
You come in there running your mouth like I'm this,
Yeah.
I'm that, and there's a guy there that's a purple belt or
Yeah.
better, you're going to get fucking murdered.
but if you're like,
There's
jiu-jitsu
no way you
tournaments,
can fake your way through it.
Jiu-jitsu tournaments are they get kind of sketchy in the same way that boxing's kind of sketchy now.
Oh yeah, I mean you get guys like if you're Brazilian, you already. I'm sorry Brazilians, but refs and such are still way partial
Yeah.
to you guys, just because they feel like it's your sport.
Well, it's just the same thing with the dudes who are like, they're a Gracie Summit, like they're kind of tied to the Gracies, and they change their name. Like there's 3 dudes who's changed their name to Gracie because they're related to the Gracies, but that's not their real last name.
Their last name is Brent.
Yeah, their last name is something else, but they're like, they're a Gracie cousin or something like that, or like their uncle or like their great grandfather or their grandfather or somebody was a Gracie, and they like their grandfather was a Gracie, and they had a daughter, and so their mom is a Gracie, but she got married to somebody else, so they're still Gracie blood,
Yeah.
but they've got their father's name. And they'll change their name to Gracie because it gets them a little bit of an extra edge
Notoriety,
in that jiu-jitsu and MMA world. But there's like a fucking, even without those guys, there's still like a million Gracies who do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't even fucking count them all.
Yeah.
And they all have their own jiu-jitsu gyms.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if there's money to be made in it, they're getting paid.
Yeah.
And
And there's nothing wrong with that for you Gracie guys.
You might as well use it. It's like a fucking trademark.
Get your money.
Get your paper.
But that is one. That's like along those same lines. Is those dudes will.
In that instance,
Yeah.
But I mean, in the pure essence of it, you don't know names, you don't know anything. You cut all that bullshit out. You step on the mat.
Yeah.
Somebody's not gonna be able to bullshit their way
If you fucking put 2 dudes down and it's not like in like a pointed out tournament, you're just gonna let 2 guys go like a full on sparring session of just like pure jiu-jitsu, like that's
what you know is gonna show,
yeah,
and what you don't know will show.
yeah,
As you get armbarred or choked.
yeah.
And just it's such a cool thing.
Get your shit snapped like you're fighting Frank Mir.
Oh God.
Whew. You see him get fucking shut down by Josh Barnett?
Yeah, I did.
It's crazy.
That
I wasn't expecting. I was expecting Josh Barnett to come back to the UFC and look like
dog shit.
Yeah, like
he looks so good.
He looks
man.
good, man.
That excites me because I really like Barnett. He's a really cool dude.
Yeah.
He's a metalhead, so that makes me like him right out the gate.
Yeah.
And he likes old fucking cars.
Yeah.
He just seems like a fucking.
He's a bit of a meathead.
He seems like
But
a dude. Like he
yeah.
seems like a dude's dude. Like,
Yeah.
If there was any more of a man out there, I'd like to see him. You know what I'm saying? He just like seems like he isn't. He's a walking, breathing Old Spice commercial. I'm a man.
That's
I'm
funny.
a man's man.
That's
That's what he
funny.
seemed like to me.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Josh Barnett.
He seems like he would like bust through a wall and punch you in the face if he saw you crying. Bitch, you're a man.
Yeah.
You stop that shit. And just run out like the Kool-Aid man.
What do you think about Jones Gustafsson coming up this weekend?
I
Think it's another Jones win?
think Gustafsson gets wrecked.
Yeah, I think so too. Somebody like
As much as like
you
I
know,
don't
like
dislike Jones.
I say that shit and like my dude Anderson Silva just got like put down and I never would have fucking guessed that ever. So you don't know what's gonna happen.
But Jones'
Odds
game
are-
isn't quite as much of a mental fuck like
Yeah,
Anderson
that's true.
Silva. Anderson Silva really relied. People like my wife, she watched that fight and she was like, "I was so happy." I'm like, "You
Yeah.
shut your fucking mouth."
So is Liz.
I'm like, "You shut your fucking mouth."
acting like a jerk.
He acted like an asshole.
Yeah.
Like he's done that the last like 7 fights.
And that's just
It's
like
part of his game. It's
That's-
not bullshit. It's him getting inside the other person's head,
it's the
and
same
it
thing.
works.
Whenever he does that and he beats people, they're like, "That was like the greatest display I've ever seen."
Yeah, and he was doing it. In the first round, Weidman was getting beat because he was getting inside his head.
Yeah.
And he was working his game. And it got him back in the fight.
Yeah.
And he continued to try and do it in the second round. And he just got caught.
Yeah. You got
Got
tagged.
caught. And Weidman,
What do you
figure
think?
out your epitaph. Figure out what headstone you want. Because come New
getting knocked
Year's,
out.
come New Year's, dude. Right after Ronda Rousey breaks Miesha Tate's arm.
You think that's gonna happen again too?
Yes, it is.
Have you watched the?
I've been watching Ultimate Fighter. It's awesome.
Dude, she's like Ronda Rousey is kind of bit to a bear. Like watching that, I'm like, I don't want to hear you talk. I don't like this.
She's like the female meathead.
Yeah, she
doesn't
is.
have she does have personality because I've heard her do podcast things with Joe
Yeah.
Rogan.
Well,
She's an interesting person.
she's got that hardcore personality. is what
Yes,
it
she
is.
feels like that's what they want.
She's got like a no BS personality.
right. She
So-
thinks that's what they want.
Yeah.
She's like, I gotta show up and be a fucking cunt bag, a cunt nugget, because they want us to hate each other,
Right.
and that's what it should
I
be.
mean, she kind of like they kind of do though. That's just kind of how
Oh,
they
yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Like they don't like each other. Or who knows?
But before we talk
whenever
about
I,
that-
whenever I was a kid, I
we have
thought
to finish the Jones discussion.
I think yeah, it's true. Like Jones is he purely like outmatches everybody like physically and technical.
But this would be the first time that you have a guy, as far as stats go, as far as physical
this
stature.
close, yeah.
Yeah, it's finally close.
He doesn't. I don't think he uses
But
it in as
I-
effective way as
Exactly.
Jones does.
That's what I was gonna say. The reach advantage isn't there. Finally, Gustafsson can actually hit him
yeah.
from, put them in front of each other. He can actually hit them.
But you know, I mean, Machida did that to him. Machida won the first round that they fought. I thought,
I thought so too.
but he
But
came
it's
out and
just-
got caught in that fucking awkward ass choke and went to sleep.
It's all these weapons. Like he really is a phenom. You hear that word get thrown around a lot. You really
Vitor is the phenom.
Vitor. But I mean, he's the next phenom. He does everything so well.
Yeah.
In every fight, he is exponentially better.
Right.
And I don't necessarily love him after some of the shit that he's talked.
I try not to let that affect me. There's so many dudes who are still into that.
Well, for me, it's like
I love watching John Jones fight though.
He's poetry in motion as far as fighting goes. He's one of the most creative strikers the UFC's probably ever seen.
For sure.
I mean, the Rashad fight, the fact that he was sliding elbows in like a fucking jab.
Yeah.
He was pacing the distance with his hand and then sliding elbows immediately down to Rashad's face like a jab. And that was fucking sick to me. Having a little technical understanding of how fights go. I'm not going to say that I have a real understanding because I've never fought.
Right.
But that's just impressive to me. And, it's spinning elbows and, back fist and the beating that he put down on Matt Hamill, even though he lost that fight by disqualification. He fucking murdered that guy.
That was what irritated me whenever the first handful of fights that I saw with him.
He was wild.
He was so squirrely that he threw shit that was totally illegal, and I was like, I don't like this guy's style because he's not controlled enough.
Right.
And he's totally honed the way that his body works, that it's fucking perfection now. And I like that's why I didn't used to like watching him fight, because he was so, like, he had that creative mentality, but he was just throwing wildness, and he wasn't putting it as accurately as he should have, and he wasn't as cohesive with the way that he was working as he should have been. But now he's got, like, all that under control. And maybe it's from being, I don't know if he was in Jackson's camp back then or not, but, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe Greg Jackson's fucking the reason, like him and Winklejohn, or like...
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he, as far as one of those road to the UFCs, I think it was the one against Rashad when they were building that fight up a lot. He was talking about Winklejohn, really, really helping him hone in on control issues and things like that nature. But
how long has he been with them, do you know? Was he with them back then when he fought Hamill?
No, I don't think so. I think it was a recent move.
I mean, he's been with them for at least, like,
3 years, maybe, yeah. Something like that. Long enough for the Rashad thing to kind of come to a head with them.
That's what I've kind of thought, was that, because he like, I watched his first, like, and I went back and watched some of his pre-UFC fights after he started getting big. And I was like, this dude is just, like, all over the place. He doesn't know how to, like, control all this, like, it was just, like, total, like, complete inspiration. And it was, like, in a tool that he didn't know how to use yet. It was like giving somebody who's just started doing, like, a little bit of graphic design or something, and giving them, like, the baddest computer on the market with, like, the most advanced fucking image manipulation program.
It'd be the overwhelming.
Yeah, like, you would do some fucking squirrely shit because you didn't know how to do it, and it might turn out cool. But then it's gotta be because he joined with, like, the Jackson Winklejohn camp that they fucking...
Probably the greatest camp out there in MMA next to, what is it, Team Alpha Male.
Alpha Male, dude, they're killing
monsters,
people
man.
Since they got Dwayne Ludwig.
They're fucking monsters, dude.
That's like Chad Mendez was talking about after his last fight. He had all those fights leading up to the Jose Aldo fight. All, like, wrestle-fuck decisions.
Yeah.
Fights Jose Aldo... wrestle fucks him for the first round until the bell, and gets kneed in the face, gets knocked out. After that fight, they bring in Dwayne Ludwig as their new striking coach. Hey, he's had 4 knockouts, and dirty knockouts in a row. And it's just like, that's crazy how that one dude, like, Dwayne Ludwig was never that dude that was like...
And then you look at guys like TJ Dillashaw, that kid is fucking...
all those dudes, him, knocking shit over.
They're knocking shit down!
They're so bad with their striking now, they're knocking shit over Drew's apartment. Or Drew's house.
I was like, nigga's small, but damn.
Well, this room's like an apartment. But, like, Dwayne Ludwig was never, like, that dude who was, like, the best fighter ever. He's got that crazy knockout, like, that record knockout.
Yeah, 3 seconds?
Something like that. And
they tried to fuck him out of it. Yeah. But, Mike Goldberg and Joe Rogan actually played back the replay for him, and they actually changed it.
But there was that, and it was just like, he's one of those dudes who's got to be like they always talk about people who are like, if you can't play, then you coach.
Right.
He's got to have something akin to that going on, where he just knows all that technique so well that he's really good.
Well, he had actually said to Joe Rogan.
Not that he was ever a bad fighter.
No, but he had said that he kind of lost the light.
Yeah.
It just became work.
Yeah, I watched that podcast when they had him and Dillashaw on there.
Yeah. And that was an awesome podcast.
Yeah.
Check it out, guys. Joe Rogan Experience. Sorry for people that aren't super into MMA. We're kind of going off on this tangent, but it's just something that we're really into, and there's if you're not into it, give it a shot. Go and check out some of these people that we're talking about. It might kind of give you an appreciation of it. If you're not into violence at all,
it's probably not for you.
We're probably not going to turn you into MMA fans.
Yeah.
But jiu-jitsu, maybe, because it's not really violent. It's a physical chess match.
Yeah.
It really is. There's a lot of really, really intelligent people.
Well, it's still violent. I think people just see it as less violent.
Controlled violence, I guess.
Yeah, I think people think that striking
it's poetic.
Is more violent because it's like very quick and intense, where jiu-jitsu, it's a lot of like, because I feel like people probably don't think wrestling is violent either, but like,
oh my god,
wrestling
is so, it's probably the most aggressive form of fighting that there is. Those of you that have never worked with a wrestler, do it. And you won't do it again.
Yeah. Because
I don't know what it is about the training or the work ethic of a wrestler, of a true wrestler, somebody that's competed. I guess maybe it's like something about the cutting weight week in and week out that just makes you a fucking evil, awful, nasty person. But, I mean, that's what you get with wrestlers, man. They're just terrible people.
Nice.
I love you guys. I do. Yeah, there's a lot of wrestlers that are my friends and everything, but god damn it, you guys are fucking dicks. You're dicks. When it comes to physical competition, they will fucking kill you.
Different style of grappling.
Yeah, it's just hurt the other person.
Grappling is like, to me, I mean, it's like if you know about it, if you know the way that it doesn't look as aggressive as striking does. But grappling is just as aggressive. Like choking somebody to sleep or like pulling on somebody's arm until they have to tap, because if they don't, that's symbolizing, okay, you're going to break my arm. So, like, oh, we're friends. That is just as violent as punching somebody in the mouth. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't look as violent, probably because, like, if we grew up and our culture was like what you saw in movies was like jiu-jitsu, and then you saw striking and it's not as popular because that's not what's in movies, that's not what's in cartoons and comic books, jiu-jitsu would probably seem more violent than striking is.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just as violent, it just doesn't, I don't think it seems as violent or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you just watch a Ronda Rousey fight.
Yeah.
Or a Frank Mir.
Yeah.
A good Frank Mir fight where he
watch Frank Mir break Tim Sylvia's arm,
break Guerra's arm, and just fuck up multiple other people.
Watch fucking, what's his name?
Paul Harris?
Yeah, Paul Harris put people in knee bars and fuck their shit up.
In careers.
Yeah.
That guy's insane. He doesn't let go even if they do tap. That dude has issues. But if for some odd reason you're listening, don't hurt me. You're amazing. You're a fucking very, very talented individual, but frightening all at the same time. And the Alan Belcher performance against him was fucking poetry.
Yeah.
Oh, it was brilliant.
That was
you
crazy.
Kept saying to yourself, "Don't do that, don't it."
Yeah.
Oh wait.
Who would have ever thought that fight would have turned out like that?
Oh,
that's crazy.
God. It was so insane.
And then he gets poked in the eye and fucks his shit up that was already fucked up.
Yeah, that was sad.
That was a bummer. I like Belcher. He seemed like he was
a really good fighter.
He seemed like he was back on like a title run, like he might have got it, and then just it's never probably gonna happen now.
Yeah, so, I don't think so, man.
Not that I think that Belcher could have beat like Anderson, but not that I think Belcher really could like.
I mean, we were just saying. I don't think that Weidman could beat Anderson either. But I think he really took him kind of lightly, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think we're gonna see the real deal.
It's gonna come out like.
I think he needed a loss, maybe.
Maybe.
He might have needed that, and maybe like come back on like a 6-fight tear where he just fucking murders people.
Did I tell you about before the fight?
No.
He was doing an interview with somebody, and they asked him, they were like, "What's your perfect way to the end of this fight?" And he goes, "This is before the fight." He said, "Yeah, Chris Weidman, new middleweight champion." before the fight, and he was like, really? That's how you want it to? And he goes, yeah, bro, I'm tired. Like, that's what he said before the fight. It's on YouTube. I can't remember who it is that
This is
he
like
interviewed with.
9/11 conspiracy theory type shit.
So, but like, whether that means he threw the fight, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying he may not have gone out and like put it like he might. I feel like he was probably just going out and trying to be exciting or something, and maybe not like just trying to go out and be like mad aggressive like he is a lot of the time. And he's not even mad aggressive a lot of the times, like until he sees that opening. Like, because the second time he fought Chael Sonnen, came out the first round.
It looks like it might be this. Yeah, it might look like same
and then
result.
he came out in the second round. Chael Sonnen, for some fucking reason, never seen him throw a spinning back fist before in his career. Throws a spinning back fist, and it's just like the most like telegraphed spinning back fist ever. Misses, falls on his ass, and then he gets his fucking chest collapsed with a knee, and it's just like
so perfectly placed.
yeah.
Like when you first see it, you're like, he kicked him in the head. What did he? And then you're like, oh,
You
wait.
watch, yeah.
That's
the
amazing.
first angle they showed it from, it was almost kind of like where you could see it from the back. I was like, why the fuck did he do that?
I mean, like of all people.
Then they show it from the side, and you're like, none of that. Like maybe his thigh connected to his face.
Yeah.
Like that knee is perfectly in his chest.
You're like, this dude is a fucking genius.
yeah.
Yeah.
The dirtiest knee to the chest was whenever Rashad fought Tito. Did you see that fight?
Yeah.
I think. Did you go to was that what was the fucking place that was out off Breckenridge and Dutchman?
Oh, Tilted Kilt?
Yeah. Did you go there and watch that with us?
Yeah, we went. When we got the world's worst service.
Yes, that salad fucking set on the bar for the whole time we were there.
It's a public service announcement for Tilted Kilt. Get your shit together.
They're fucking gone, dude. That
Yeah,
one
the
closed.
one here is gone. Yeah, they're nationwide though.
Yeah. Your shit sucked here.
So you're gone. Note to self: it can happen other places.
Yeah.
So make sure your shit's on point, son.
Yeah.
Hot bitches don't get you good service.
And our waitress wasn't even hot that day.
No, she wasn't.
I think I went there 2 or 3 times, and I don't think I ever got a hot waitress.
I know you always saw them surrounding you.
Yeah.
You're like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's like, how did I get stuck in the AAA version? Like, I want to go to the pros.
Oh shit.
Lame shit.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Maybe this should be a shorter podcast since it's just the two of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've been going for a while, dude.
Yeah, it's over an hour.
Yeah.
Kind of went on a fucking 20-minute MMA tangent.
We told pop brownie stories. Went on a movie tear. Went on an MMA tear.
I hope we didn't lose too many people. I know it's kind of a niche market, but, you know. We make it entertaining still. I hope.
I'm sorry if we hate a lot. I don't know. Maybe, you know, I'm sorry if I hate a lot. I don't want to speak for Drew. I'm a little bit of a hater. I'm sorry.
He's a lot of a hater. Fuck Quentin Tarantino.
Fuck all that shit. I'm fucking, what's the word for it? No. I mean, yeah, kind of, but I'm
No, not kind of.
What's
I'm
the word
opinionated as fuck too, though. So
whenever it comes to like artistic expressions, I'm very I'm elitist. I'm very selective about like my music, my art, my TV shows, my movies. I'm fucking selective, and it makes me sound like a hater, and I am a hater on some shit.
I'm right there with you, man. What I tell people, there's not enough. You shouldn't waste time on mediocrity.
Yeah.
At this point, there's so much because there's so many people.
Yeah.
There's so much awesome stuff.
Right.
So as far as music is concerned, but then again, it's all subjective. You know,
Yeah.
what I think is the peak, the epitome of fucking greatness is completely different from what
there is some things that aren't arguable. There's some things that if you're talking purely about like technical perfection, you can't argue against it. But there's a lot of stuff that it's just like people are just like, I just don't like this, and that's a little bit of a different thing. And And I'm on some of that, on some of both of that. I mean, like, I like to be elitist in, like, things that are, like, really awesome. But there's some things that are probably, like, it's shit that, like, a lot of people like, but I just don't like it. And I fall into that other category, so I just don't like it, so I'm just a hater towards that. So, this is the way it goes, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. As two individuals that have been in a band for so long.
Yeah.
We could. I think we could critique, especially like live performances and production value and things of that nature. Being adamant fans. I mean, we were people that like totally. It engrossed our whole life.
Yeah.
We listened to metal constantly. We played every week. We played shows every week. And I did it in several other bands before that. So it's like it's kind of brought me to like a cynical point in my life. I don't really immerse myself in any new music just because, it's all been done.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad. It's unfortunate.
But something I always think that, and then something comes along and surprises me.
Yeah.
So.
It always does happen, and that's good.
There's a new band that's out that just released their first full length, and they're called The Ongoing Concept. And their first single that they released off of it, I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, this is gonna be the next big thing. And then like I downloaded the whole album, and I think it's got 11 tracks. One of them's an intro track, and it's not even music. And so it's got 10 full songs on it, and 4 of the songs are like the first single they released. They're fucking awesome. And then the other 6 songs are like filler. They're not necessarily filler. They do this thing where they've got the guitarist sings and their frontman is a screamer, and their heavy songs are sick as shit. And then, so they got 4 songs that are pretty heavy that might have like a chorus where the guitarist sings. He kind of sings with a raspy voice, so it's still kind of even an aggressive singing style. And then they got 1 song on there that's all just like him singing and playing piano, and it's like, dude, you got, and I don't know, maybe there's other people that like that, but I'm like, to me, I'm like, you guys need to pick to one, because those songs aren't bad. I just don't feel like it fits together as a whole thing. And maybe it's just because they're new and the dudes are young and they don't know how to put it all together well or something. But to me, I'm like, you guys need to pick one style or the other. You guys need to either be like a heavy hardcore band, or you need to be like a get rid of that dude, your screamer, and be like a slow singing band. Like, because these songs aren't fitting together for me. But
well, I mean, there's some bands that kind of
there's
able
some
to hone
fans
that together
like
perfect.
That. Like Between the Buried and Me.
Between the Buried and Me mixes the styles beautifully. I mean,
which they've got some of that. That first song that they put out, like, it starts off and it's like, it's kind of like happy-go-lucky, and just for the beginning, it's almost like a trick intro, and then it kicks into like the heavy part.
Yeah. And
it's got, the dude plays banjo over the chorus, and it's like, what the fuck is this? And then it works. But then there are other songs. Because, like, you know how Between the Buried and Me kind of runs it's like they write it as an album instead of singles.
Yeah, it's very concept.
This isn't like that. Like, it's a bunch of singles that they're kind of conceptually put together. It doesn't work for me with those other songs. Like, I would have rather had, like, a 4-song EP with that intro that's just those heavy songs. But I don't know. What are you gonna
It's
do?
probably like you said. They're probably young.
They've got
to figure it out.
They've got a decent fan base for being a band of their size at this point. So there's probably a lot of people. There's probably a lot of teenage girls that are into those other like sing-songy tracks.
Yeah, because we learned. We knew. Well, we didn't learn. We knew from the get go that the metal music isn't accessible for everyone.
Right.
I'm not into the screaming.
Yeah.
I get it. That's what our parents. All of our parents said that too at one point or another. I really love the music, but what's the deal with all the screaming?
You just don't get it, Mom.
It's a generational gap, I guess. But there are some older people that are totally fucking into it.
And there's plenty of people our age they'll tell you the same thing.
Oh yeah, I don't like all the screaming. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Different strokes, different folks. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It goes the same way with like, I was talking to Liz the other day about, I was listening to an old Deltron song, old Del the Funky Homo Sapien. He did this, you know who that is? The dude.
I know who it is.
He did like the rap parts on like that first Gorilla song. It's on Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
And he had his own shit. He's a really good rapper. Like he's probably like one of the most, to me, he's one of the most underrated rappers ever. And he did this thing with like, he made like a side project with these other two guys. It was called Deltron 3030, and it was supposed to be like a futuristic thing, and it's like there's a whole concept to it. One of those songs came on the other day. I was like, I fucking love this song. And I was in the car with her, and she was just like she was just telling me it's hard for her to get into that style of rap music because it doesn't have like a hook to it.
Oh,
like,
so it's kind of like the whole Wu-Tang thing.
Yeah, his style is very similar to but it's got a hook.
It's called a triumph.
What?
It's like when it's a song without a chorus.
I don't know.
I think it's so many bars without a chorus. It's
but
considered
Wu-Tang,
a triumph.
Well, that's okay. I'm saying this. I'm not. So she likes songs with a chorus. Like Wu-Tang's got hooks. Like the Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with, or like.
But not.
Like
but
it's
not
a
really.
hook. It's a catchy thing that repeats. They come back to it. It's a hook, but it's not necessarily a chorus.
Right. Yeah.
Dell's got.
But they don't do that in every song.
No.
Yeah.
No. But they've got a lot of songs they do that.
It's hard for them to do it when you got fucking 13 members or whatever it was, you know.
Yeah. Or like they've got shame on a nigga who tried to run game on a nigga. Like they come back to that.
Did you ever hear the System of a Down version of that?
No.
Yeah, Surge and System of a Down did a remix with that.
I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Great, dude.
That's
it's
one of
really
my favorite Wu-Tang songs.
And it's really cool because Surge is like, he fucking does it with him. He's like,
that's tight.
It's so bad.
I'm gonna have to listen to that later.
I can't even explain it to you. It's just awesome.
But she was talking about we started talking about it, and she's like, I really like B.O.B. and like B.O.B.'s alright, and I'm like, okay. His rap style sounds like he's pulling like old Outkast style, but then he's got those sing-songy R&B choruses, which I don't like that.
I love R&B, man.
I mean, I don't like that in my rap music. Like I can dig that stuff on its own. I don't like that. I don't want to hear like if you're gonna have an Outkast style verse, I like the Outkast style choruses. Like they're still very hip hop oriented.
Yeah, I can see where you're
going. And they're still like rhyming. They're not. They're kind of sung, but they're not really like a full on singing. Some of their shit, like their later shit, whenever Andre started getting experimental, is.
Yeah.
But like old school, like ATLians and Stank
Equimini and all that.
Equimini, yeah, like all that stuff is very like. It's very like they have hook style choruses that are still very hip hop oriented, and some people like that. It's like that same thing with like the metal stuff. Like it's hard for people who are into like that typical style of formulaic music to get into that because it doesn't.
Verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus.
Yeah, intro, verse, chorus, bridge, verse, chorus, outro.
Yeah,
like people who are into that radio style of like setup formulaic music. It's hard for them to
get outside the box.
Yeah, because something
that's just a random part.
There's nothing wrong with a good chorus, man. Like
no, I mean even a lot of metal bands that we love do that.
Yeah,
you know, Eyes Lay Dying,
Kill Switch,
all those like
all those metalcore bands that were big when we first started getting into this shit. They
got big because I think because of those formulations. You know, they did things that people were more accustomed to.
Right.
You know, which was fine. You know, even Lamb of God they didn't sing choruses, but they were still choruses.
Yeah.
You know, they were hooks and catches, you know, and it fucking worked for them without them having to sacrifice their sound.
Yeah.
Which was awesome.
Did I tell you about, I think I told you on the first podcast that we did that, the dude, what's his name? Chris Adler from Lamb of God is doing the drums on the new Protest the Hero album.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's gonna be insane.
Yeah,
because he's a bad motherfucker.
If anybody could fucking fill in with that sort of music, it'd be him.
Yeah, he can do really weird shit.
Yeah, it's craziness.
But yeah, I don't even understand how we got where we are.
I don't remember.
I have no idea. But yeah, here we are.
Wrapping it up.
And there you are. Yeah, I think I'm about to poop. So, all that meat from dinner.
Yeah.
That big juicy hamburger we ate.
Yeah.
Shit was fucking delicious. Man.
Yeah.
Turned out really well. Folks, buy some pretzel buns at the store.
Yeah.
Make your burger on a pretzel bun.
Yeah.
Shit is good.
Slap it on the grill.
Goddamn right. But I think that's gonna wrap it up.
Holla!
For sure. Appreciate you guys joining and listening. And Eric, we hope you get back safe, buddy.
We love you, buddy. We'll see you soon.
We We love you. Sorry that everything's happened.
Listen to the podcast. Don't be a little mad pants.
Yeah, just because you weren't here, don't be like, I ain't listening to this shit. Old bitch ass bitch, pre-Madonna looking ass.
Yeah.
But, deuces.
Thanks for dinner, man.
We're out.
We're actually just wrapping up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.